I analyzed every frame of the Bayo-on-netta 3 trailer and came to the ultimate conclusion on who this Constellation Beast really is. Everything that we are about to show you cannot be found anywhere else on YouTube, and at the end of this video, this will culminate into a nuclear of brain juice. Watching this scene in super smooth slow motion changed my theory about this being Perseus or Leo. It's not. A huge thanks to Akhoran, who found out that Centaurus bears a more uncanny resemblance. There are a bunch of different versions or groups of stars that you can find online, but this one was the closest to the pattern on its belly. Comparing this with frame 10,272 of the release date trailer, you can see it follows the same structure even though it's not really exact. One branch below, an enclosed polygon, a 3-jointed middle branch, and a 4 to 5 jointed upper branch. Quickly moving on to the mythology itself is the imagery of a man's head and torso combined with the legs and tail of a bison. For the sake of the Bayonetta lore, just keep the chimera and star concept in mind. I promise you everything will make sense. There are diamond-like patterns around its thighs, so I looked everywhere from every character design until I remembered that someone familiar had the same pattern. Could the white hair, the polygonal apparel, and the ability to beast within that Loki possesses be this monster? No, I don't think so. The story potential of Loki returning and getting out of hand isn't very interesting. I believe his return as an adult and having further control of his powers is better cameoed as being the one who Cereza teams up with again for a very little while. The chance of Loki being the Constellation Beast? 1%. Let's be generous. Well, what about Radon, the music note and constellation sculpture by Augusta that we mentioned in the full analysis video? I even saw the red flares that both beings emanate when they rage out. And by the way, someone by the name of Serling Jones asked me to look at the rug under them, and thank you so much for seeing the Lilith AU/concept. I believe they were hinting that the color palette is the same as the Constellation Beast. While I don't believe that this is Radon anymore, I like to be suspicious that Radon could be a part of the advent of this beast, or at least the creation of this beast. The music note similarity is something I want to hold on to, even if they are just coincidences. However, you know what form I am looking forward to for Radon. Chance of Radon being the Constellation Beast? I'm gonna be generous, 1%. There are 2 more beings that I know are both 49% more likely to be the mystery Constellation Beast. When you adjust the contrast and brightness, you see more beast-like features like fangs and a snout. You can even argue them to be canine features. There was someone who has umbran glyphs that shatter into beautiful cathedral shards of broken glass, which was quite new to all of us, which could be a hint to that person being unable to control her powers as of this time. Someone who doesn't like to be called Kitty, and someone with light hair. Before you jump into saying it's Viola, there is someone else you have to consider. The long claws, the purple fur, the eyes that are morbidly separated, an abstract cape, and the diamond grid shoulder pad.
The long claws, the purple fur, the eyes that are morbidly separated, an abstract cape, and the diamond grid shoulder pad.
So much for a cat always landing on his feet, Cheshire. So much for a cat always landing on his feet. Landing on his feet.
Could this be one of Cheshire's strongest forms? From being fluffy and cuddly, while still being vicious, might I add, to being more streamlined and leaned out. Essentially making the body more efficient. Think War Growlmon to Gallantmon, Saiyan 3 to Saiyan God, and even Iron Man's Mark 3 to Mark 85. Another thing, it's when I came across this post by Sean, thank you Sean, and eventually this video where I get to see a trypophobia nightmare. Cereza's demon masquerade eyes actually exhibit the morbid effect of multiple eyes in one, similar to the Constellation Beast. Could this be an indicator of demon masquerade, besides the whole form change and whatnot? But what I found really cool throughout the years is that anyone using an external power source, especially if it's from an animal, nature, or a creature, can visibly be determined. A great example of this was you could tell if it was an imperfect sage mode. They took on extreme features of what they were trying to harness. It made sense. It's like the beast you are contracting with is still in control of your body. Putting that trope in Bayonetta, I theorized that demon masquerade is a new, or at least a recently discovered umbran art. This Cereza potentially has either mastered or is in complete sync with her Madama Butterfly, as she is seen easily removing and activating the masquerade form, or infernal bond. Therefore, if this is a masquerade form between Viola and Cheshire, maybe she hasn't mastered it, or Cheshire has finally taken over her body. Now, why she's fighting Cereza, the motives behind everything, they are complete speculation at this point. Honestly, it could be anything. It could be Viola's an artificial Umbran witch from the Alphaverse whose mission is to get the eyes of the world from all Cerezas of the multiverse because this Cereza seems to have the glowing left eye. Or it's Viola she-hulking out of control and her demon masquerade is improper. Or it could be Radahn who made her into a weapon that spiraled out of control. Or it could just be Viola's time of the month. Who knows? But seriously, I want it to be the first one. I think that has the most evidence so far and is something unsettlingly cool. And I've said that concept multiple times. Anyways, how awesome is it that this is potentially an imperfect demon masquerade, which I really hope Cereza showcases her own demon masquerade, or, you know.
Mommy, you're a strong little girl. There is nothing you cannot overcome. And think, there's still time.
Let's dance, boys.
And imagine if our Bayonetta has her own demon masquerade too. Oh my god. The steak shirt with a doll on fire. While it could just be a teenagery yet punk rock Paramore design, what if that is a clue? A subliminal message of some sort. Cheshire being burned on a stake. Just like in the real world, how people were accused of witchcraft and magicry in the Salem witch trials. Like it's subliminally, whoa. First try. Subliminally saying that you're the witch, you're the enemy. I am 98%, nah, you know what? I am 100% sure. I'm gonna put all the chips in on this. This is Viola's imperfect Cheshire masquerade, or at least Viola and Cheshire together. The features, the eyes, and finally, the constellation that was the final nail in the coffin. Half human, half beast. However, why I love this theory so much is because
Is this a hint to the next villain in Bayonetta 3?
I remember being called crazy for wanting to verse Cheshire in Bayonetta 3. I'm rockin' and never get disheartened.